Hello class, and welcome to lesson 3.6, which is about adding and subtracting unlike fractions. By the end of today's lesson, you will be able to find a common denominator in order to add and subtract unlike fractions. So we're going to start with some addition. We've got 15 over 21 plus 3 over 7. When we are looking for our common denominators, of the two denominators, I always start working with the bigger one. So 21 and 7 are our denominators. I start by multiplying, so 21 times 1 is 21. I then see if my smaller denominator can go into that number. 7 can go into 21, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply 7 by 3. If I multiply the denominator, I need to multiply the numerator. So that's going to get us our common denominator. 15 over 21. That one didn't change because 21 is our common denominator. And then we've got 9 over 3. Or excuse me, not 9 over 3, 9 over 21. Because 7 times 3 is 21. Then we follow the rules that we learned in yesterday's lesson, which was adding and subtracting like fractions, where we add the numerators, so 15 plus 9 is 24, and keep the denominator the same. So we have 24 out of our 21 pieces. We then need to finish this problem by reducing. 21 can go into 24 one time, and there's 3 pieces left over. Since 3 and 21 can both be divided by 3, I need to reduce that final fraction, and I get 1 and 1/7. So again, we start by looking for the bigger denominator and using that to help us find our common denominator. So in this next example, we start by looking at our numbers, and since they're mixed numbers, we're going to deal with the whole numbers first. So we're going to take our -1 plus 7, and that gives me a +6. So that hasn't changed dealing with the whole numbers first. Now for dealing with the fractions, we need to go about finding our common denominator. 9 and 12. 12 is our bigger number. So we're going to make a list. 12 times 1 is 12. 9 can't go into 12, so we need to keep going. 12 times 2 is 24. 9 can't go into 24, so we need to keep going. 12 times 3 is 36. 9 can divide 36, so 36 is going to be our common denominator. In order to change 9 into 36, we need to multiply by 4. If we do it to the denominator, we do it to the numerator. So that gives us 20, and remembering our negative sign, because it's a negative mixed number, over 36. Plus, to get 12 to turn into 36, we need to multiply by 3. So numerator and denominator both get multiplied by 3, giving me 33 over 36. Then we follow our rules for like addition and subtraction. -20 plus 33 gives us +13 out of 36, keeping that denominator the same. And then we finish by putting our mixed number back together. So we say 6 plus 13 over 36. Putting that together gives us 6 and 13 36. Go ahead and try this one on your own. We start by adding our whole numbers. 4 plus 12 is 16. We look at our two denominators and see that 7 is the bigger one. So we do 7 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Finally, when we get to 7 times 6, it works. So we do 6 times 7, which is 42. 5 times 7, which is 35. On the second, we do 7 times 6, which is 42. 2 times 6, which is 12. Adding it up gives me 47 out of 42, or 1 and 5/42. When I add that all together, we get a final answer of 17 and 5/42. Same process is going to happen for finding the difference, or doing subtraction. We start by looking at our numbers and picking out the bigger one. So 9 is bigger than 6, so we're going to start with 9 times 1, which is 9. 6 can't divide 9, so we move on. 9 times 2 is 18. 6 can divide 18, so that's going to be our common denominator. In order to turn 9 into 18, we we multiply by 2. So our first fraction turns into 14 over 18. In order to turn 6 into 18, we need to multiply by 3. So our second fraction turns into 15 over 18. Then we do our subtraction of the numerator. 14 minus 15 gives me a negative 1. Keeping the denominator the same, can't reduce, so our answer is negative 1 over 18. One more example of this. Again, when you have your mixed numbers, we still start by subtracting those whole numbers. So we have 9 minus 6, which is equal to 3. Then we need to look for our common denominator. So between 6 and 5, 6 is the bigger number. So 6 times 1 is 6. Can't be divided by 5. 6 times 2 is 12. Still can't divide by 5. 6 times 3 is 18. Can't divide by 5. 6 times 4 is 24. Can't divide by 5. 6 times 5 is 30. We definitely can divide that by 5. So 30 is going to be our common denominator. When I do 6 times 5, I get 30. So my numerator is going to be 5 out of 30. Taking away, to get to 30 on the second fraction, we multiply by 6. So we end up with 24 out of 30. When I do 5 minus 24, I get negative 19 out of 30. Now we need to put our mixed number back together. So we have 3 minus 19 out of 30. So when I take that away, the 3 is going to turn into 2. If I'm taking away 19 out of 30, that means there are 11 of those 30 left over. So our final answer is 2 and 11/30. Go ahead and try this one on your own. Dealing with our whole numbers, we have negative 4 minus 5 is equal to negative 9. Looking at our two denominators, 6 is the bigger number. 6 times 1 can't divide by 4. 6 times 2 is 12. That can be divided by 4. So we multiply our first fraction by 2 to get negative 2 over 12. We multiply our second fraction by 3 to get 9 over 12. Negative 2 minus 9 gives us negative 11. Negative 9 taking away 11/12 is going to give me negative 9 and 11/12. If you have any questions about this or anything else from the lesson, please feel free to reach out and I would be happy to help you.